Minions and Monsters comes out in a few days, and before you watch it, you might need a quick recap of what our beloved yellow friends are up to. So here's a recap of all the Minions movie, excluding the Despicable Me ones. Meet the Minions. These yellow guys you've probably seen everywhere all over the place. Well, they kinda have existed since the start of time, and they have one purpose: to serve the most evil, the most diabolical, the most despicable villain ever.
Say that again?
But this is not that story. Instead, we see how clumsy these guys are, and they end up pretty much killing almost all of their previous bosses. And the final straw comes when Napoleon is blown apart, so they plan on spending the rest of their days in a cave. And at first, things seem great, but soon with no boss to serve, they get bored. So one day, 3 brave minions named Kevin, Stuart, Bob set out to find a new boss for them. This brings them to 1968 New York, where they see an ad for a villain con. So they tag along with a fellow family of villains who are also going there. And at the convention, they meet Scarlet Overkill, who runs a competition to hire her next henchman, and the minions win, so she hires them. Meanwhile, all the other minions find a Yeti and make them their boss, and that goes as well as you think it does. So Kevin tells the other minions to come join them in London and stay with them, since Scarlet is now their new boss. And the other minions set out on a long trek to London. Meanwhile, Scarlet is planning to steal the Queen's crown jewels using the minions, and they get geared up and go to steal the jewels, but they get caught. And Stuart uses mind control to control the guards and make them dance, but it doesn't work on this one beefeater, and they get chased as they try to steal the crown. This chase eventually leads to Bob picking up the sword and the stone, and he becomes Scarlet is mad at the betrayal because this was her goal of becoming the Queen of England and Bob has done it, but Bob willingly abdicates so she can take the throne, and as her first order as queen, she orders for the minions to be imprisoned and to be executed, and that fails. And then the trio try to apologize to Scarlet about the misunderstanding, but they drop a chandelier on her during her coronation, which she thinks is an assassination attempt, and yet another chase ensues. In this chase, Kevin finds a machine that makes him huge, and he battles Scarlet and defeats her, and seemingly has killed her. And all the other minions also arrive in London at this point, and the Queen returns to her throne and holds a ceremony to reward the trio. Bob gets a tiny crown, Stuart gets a guitar that he breaks so he gets a snow globe instead, and Kevin gets knighted. However, Scarlet returns and tries to steal the crown again, but this time is stopped by a young Gru, who freezes her, steals the crown and flees. And the minions see their new boss and chase after him. It is now 8 years later, and Gru gets an invitation to audition for the Vicious Six, basically the Avengers of villains, and the team is being led by Bell Bottom. But was founded by Wild Knuckles, who is sadly dead. Gru's interview goes very bad, however he steals the stone capable of turning anyone into one of the animals on the Chinese zodiac. But don't worry, our trio and Gru escape, but a new minion named Otto had traded the all-powerful stone for a pet rock. Gru is mad that the stone is gone and fires the minions and goes hunting for the stone himself, but gets kidnapped by Wild Knuckles, who is very much alive. The minions then ask for Otto's help to see if he can recount where he sold the stone, and our trio head out to that house. But Otto notices the stone on a biker and chases after him looking for the stone. Meanwhile, our trio pilot a plane to head to San Francisco to save Gru, but are beaten by Wild Knuckles and his crew. So they learn Kung Fu from Master Chow. Meanwhile, Gru has started bonding with his kidnapper, and we learned that his crew had in fact quit on him, which is why they were hiring a new member earlier. And so together they decide to rob the Bank of Evil. But once they return, they see that Wild Knuckles' home has been destroyed, and he basically gives up, but Gru won't, so he sets out to stop them. At the Chinese New Year parade, Otto finds Gru and gives him the stone, but the Six show up, and so does the Anti-Villain League, and the Six use the stone to transform themselves into animals, and a fight breaks out, and they also kidnap Gru again, and Kevin, Stuart and Bob are turned into weak animals. But Wild Knuckles returns to the fight, and the minions beat most of the Six. Otto saves Gru by using the stone to turn the Six into rats, and they get arrested. However, sadly, Wild Knuckles passes away from his injuries. He faked his death, and him and Gru drive off into the sunset, and also Gru hires Dr. Nefaria. Comment below your favourite movie and subscribe after that.